Welcome back to the Observable Unknown. Human beings regulate one another constantly. Long before language, long before ideology, even before conscious reasoning, the nervous system is always listening. A room can calm you before anyone speaks. A household can exhaust you before breakfast. A single anxious person can destabilize an entire group without ever raising their voice. States spread. Calm spreads the same way fear does. Suspicion spreads the same way relief does. And yes, chaos spreads too. Most people dramatically underestimate how permeable they actually are. Modern culture teaches individuality so aggressively that most people no longer recognize how collective human physiology truly is. But the body never stopped knowing. In fact, it still tracks safety socially. At the University of Illinois at Chicago, and later through the Polyvagal Institute, neuroscientist Stephen Porges developed what became known as Polyvagal Theory. Porges proposed that the nervous system is constantly scanning for cues of safety and danger beneath conscious awareness. Not abstract danger, but physiological danger. Tone of voice, facial expression, posture, cadence, pacing, stillness, and tension. The organism asks continuously, "Am I safe here?" And the body answers long before the intellect does. This process is called neuroception, not perception. Neuroception, the nervous system detecting threat or safety before conscious interpretation fully forms. This explains why certain people exhaust you despite behaving politely. It also explains why some spaces feel calming immediately and some households produce chronic vigilance, why one dysregulated parent can shape the entire emotional climate of a child's development. Regulation is contagious, so is dysregulation. At Northeastern University in Boston, psychologist Lisa Feldman Barrett spent years studying emotion prediction and the constructed nature of feeling states. Her work challenged the simplistic assumption that emotions are fixed biological events. Instead, emotional states are constructed through prediction, memory, physiology, context, and social exchange. This matters enormously because it means emotional climates aren't merely internal experiences. They're collectively reinforced environments, very much reminiscent of Emile Durkheim's collective effervescence. A culture saturated with outrage eventually normalizes outrage, and a family organized around anxiety teaches anxiety physiologically. A workplace governed by chronic instability produces anticipatory vigilance even when no immediate threat is present. Eventually, people stop recognizing dysregulation because dysregulation has become baseline. This may be one of the defining psychological conditions of modernity. The normalization of nervous system exhaustion. People now consume more emotional stimuli in a single day than earlier generations encountered in months. Conflict, tragedy, advertising, humiliation, comparison, catastrophe, performance, outrage. Your nervous system absorbs all of it, and very little is metabolized. This is where regulation becomes existentially important. Not comfort, but regulation, because an unregulated system gradually loses interpretive accuracy. Under enough chronic stress, ambiguity becomes threat. Difference can become danger, delay becomes rejection, and silence can become hostility. Pressure begins editing perception. This sits very close to what I explore inside temporal architecture and the 12 decision bodies. Different constitutional structures destabilize differently under prolonged dysregulation. The sentinel becomes hypervigilant. The builder overworks compulsively. The visionary detaches into abstraction. The resolver can't disengage from unresolved tension. The integrator absorbs the emotional states of everyone nearby until identity itself begins dissolving. Under enough accumulated pressure, people stop responding to the world as it is. They begin responding to the nervous system state they can't escape. This is why regulation can't be reduced to self-help slogans or surface wellness aesthetics. A regulated nervous system isn't merely relaxed, it's capable of accurate proportionality. It's capable of distinguishing past from present, signal from projection, stress from catastrophe. And perhaps most importantly, a regulated person interrupts contagion. One calm individual inside a frightened system can alter the emotional trajectory of an entire room. One stable parent can interrupt generational volatility. One grounded nervous system can prevent escalation that otherwise would have spread automatically. This is why composure carries moral weight, not performative calm, actual regulation. Historically, many rituals served precisely this purpose: prayer cycles, breathing disciplines, chanting, meditation, ceremony, silence, fasting, seasonal observances. Whether we think of rituals as calendrical or critical, they always serve the same functions: to organize time in a controlled manner. These practices didn't merely symbolize order, they stabilized physiology. Modern culture often dismisses such structures as primitive, while simultaneously producing unprecedented levels of dysregulation. That contradiction deserves attention. Human beings do not become coherent accidentally. Coherence must be practiced repeatedly until the nervous system remembers how safety feels without requiring constant stimulation, conflict, or collapse. And perhaps this is one of the great hidden responsibilities of adulthood: to stop spreading unprocessed chaos into every room we enter. If this interlude steadied something inside of you, please make that known. Leave a rating or a review, not for validation or recognition, but for signal, so that regulation reaches places where exhaustion has been mistaken for normalcy too long. Until next time, remember, you don't become what you feel. You become what you return to, and what you return to returns as you.